Enter the Computerverse.
Yes, we are back. Welcome to your least favorite podcast. We're back once again. Enter the Computerverse. That's right. As we dive into season 2, you're going to be noticing some things have changed. We are still socially distanced, so this is the first season that you're going to get to experience in video. Keep in mind, this is all pretty new, and I'm experiencing, a little bit of a, growth pains right here. We're expecting less editing this season because mostly I'm fucking lazy. So today, let's just go ahead and jump in. We're welcoming our very first guest of the second season of Enter the Computerverse. You may know him from YouTube. You've likely seen his face somewhere. Greetings, Ryan Gutierrez, aka Gootecks.
Hey,
Welcome
what's going on, man? Thank you. Thanks for having me. Long time in the making.
Yeah, that was one hell of an intro. It's funny because we actually met on New Year's Day, and this has been something that we've been planning for the better part of 8 months. Yeah, but it's mostly my fault. I was like totally, we're going to get this started again in March. And then this year's been a shit show, dude. It's been nonstop.
It's all your
coronavirus.
Fault. You were in the lab with that virus. It's your fault. It's escaped. The whole thing is your fault.
Whole thing, yeah. The virus is my fault. Guys, don't hold it against me. Y'all have been quarantined in your homes. Or maybe not. You've been out partying in Bel Air. I don't know what you've been doing, for the past few months. I mean, some people really just don't give a shit about this. This is unprecedented. We're living in some crazy, crazy times right now. I don't need to tell anyone about that, though, obviously. You all are living it yourselves. It's just great to be back right now and kind of conversing and, jumping back in. Now you're going to be seeing us on YouTube as well as if you're listening on Libsyn. So if you want to get that visual aesthetic, just tune in on YouTube. And, I really love how this is truly... it's the Computerverse, but we're really in a digital environment now. So
shit,
pretty on the nose.
Is my camera on too?
Yeah. You're a little bit. Your camera's on. You're a little bit low though.
All right, hold on.
It's okay. I mean,
Here,
I can really only see just the head.
No. Here,
it's glorious.
If we're gonna go through. Okay. All right. Okay. If we're gonna go through and do. Damn it! I wish I would have thought of this ahead of time. So I would have enabled the background.
Great. It's totally fine, man. It's just real, It's just real to have the green in the background. And I mean, the last season was a little bit more edited. Like
people don't want real.
Yeah, they do.
Come on. I mean, people can't handle real.
You can't handle the truth. Well, you guys better be able to handle the truth now because again, I'm just so fucking lazy. I'm getting lazier with time. It's not getting better, guys. And this podcast is just gonna continually nosedive. So I'm glad that y'all are here for it. For anyone that's tuning in once again after the first season, I'm stoked that you're here. How's the apocalypse treating you, man?
There were a lot of ups and downs. I think it was everybody's first pandemic and everybody's first apocalypse. So nobody really knew what to expect. But I think after the first round of quarantine, COVID round 1. Around the time that right before we shifted to manufactured race riots, things just started to look up for me. And so since then, I feel great. And I'm not, we haven't known each other that long, right? So you may not have some context, but like I'm not typically Mr. like, oh, I feel good, everything is great. I'm typically like oh my God, I hate my life, everything's terrible. But I'll be honest, the world, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Yeah.
Oh, great.
So, yeah,
well, at least you're feeling good, and you're on the up and up.
That's been an adventure. What about you?
No, I've been really fucking busy. I think that's kind of what's kept my sanity through all of this. I can totally imagine being in a position where you just don't know what to do and you're sitting around, and that can drive you crazy, especially if you're locked inside. So, I mean, it's definitely been coronavirus popped all of our pandemic cherries, and now we're just living with it, and there's no telling when it's going to be done. It's funny because I just did a collaboration with this guy, Jason Amore, who's in New Zealand, and they've basically eradicated it. I'm not trying to talk about coronavirus forever. Like, obviously, we're all living it again, but it's funny to me that they can have rugby games and they can basically exist because it's gone, like they're quarantining anyone who comes into New Zealand for 2 weeks. So at this point, there's no cases. I mean, someone told me that, yeah, it's because it's just such a small place, and I guess maybe that does play into it. But I don't know. I feel like we could have handled things better from the get-go. And I mean, America is obviously a huge fucking country, but it sucks that we're all dealing with this, and this is all going to be history when we look back at it. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in school. If you have children or in the future, your kids are going to look back at this, and any kids are going to look back, not yours. Okay. You're smushing your face. Any kids are going to look back at this, man, and they're going to be taught about it. And it's funny that they want kids to go back to school right now.
Will somebody please think of the children? God, please. Please.
Think of the children.
Children's lives matter. I swear to God they do. And everybody needs to, in the same way that we thought about, in the same way that old people, the elderly, were used as a method of persuasion for taking the virus, for being afraid of the virus, we need to apply that same line of thinking to the kids and think carefully about what the next generation and the next generation are going to be like if they are raised to believe that all human contact is inherently dangerous.
Well,
what kind of issues would you have? What kind of issues would you have growing up if when you were like 12 or 13 and there was that girl that you thought was so cute, was so pretty, and like she made you all awkward? What would you do? What would you do if you didn't just have to worry about working up your own nerve as a 13-year-old boy to go talk to her, as hard as that was, right? But now you got to wonder whether or not her cooties are going to get you, even if you succeed. Imagine
cooties are real now. You gotta stay 6 feet away, so you can you gotta love them from a distance. That's what it is right now. You gotta love them from a distance.
I'm just saying. I think there are a lot of people, a lot of young people that became older like us that would have serious issues, that already had serious issues. But if you apply this 6 feet of social distancing, I don't think that's going to make things any better.
Well, okay. Are you not advocating that then?
What? Advocate?
Do you believe?
Do I think the kids should be back in school in October or in the fall?
Do you think that people should social distance? Is my question.
Do I think people should social distance? Okay, well, let me ask you this: if there can be rugby games, if there could be rugby games in New Zealand,
sure.
Then, and if in other countries it's not 6 feet, right? It's like 1.5 meters.
Well, they've eradicated the virus in New Zealand. I mean, scientifically, there's no confirmed cases anymore. So,
I would say that there is a difference. I don't think something could be eradicated if it still exists in other parts of the world. So they may not have.
Okay.
They may not have any new reported cases, but I don't think you could use the word eradicate because it still exists in other places.
Sure. I mean, but the thing is, I think that they're
cases.
They're being very proactive in the sense of quarantining anybody, though. So,
Agreed.
I mean,
agreed.
Maybe it's not the most responsible thing to have a rugby game. I mean, somewhere it's like, but they certainly are doing much better than we are here in the United States, where the cases are still just continually ballooning, and it's a shit show. I mean, like, now we're sending all of the data over to the White House rather than the CDC. I'm not, it's funny because jumping into this, I was like, God damn it, the first 10 minutes of this podcast, I do not want to go fucking political. I don't want to talk about and the virus. And
I thought we were talking about personal health and safety.
I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? I mean, it's funny because the virus is a political thing here in the United States. So for anyone, it may not be for you or for me. I mean, like, of course we can have casual conversation, but some people will listen and say, oh, well, then there's this policy of, it comes down to policy, and it comes down to how people are, well, it should go to the White House, and that, fuck whatever, fuck this bullshit, fuck this coronavirus. you know, be fucking careful. That I don't want you to get it. I don't want anyone to get it. Like, it's real. That's the thing. Like, you know, I had a manager, an artist manager, who I worked with for 4 years. This guy, Gary Salzman. And, you know, he got it and he passed away, and rest in peace, Gary. You know, like, we didn't have the best relationship, you know, and it's funny, this is the first time I'm talking about it. It's just, it's fucked up, man. Like, you know, it affects older people. So even if you're not so worried about getting it yourself, like, even if you're the pinnacle of fucking health, you know, like, worry about someone else's grandparents or someone who does have that member of their family with diabetes or something like that. That's what matters. It's like the fact that we all look out for each other. And the scariest fucking thing of this, you know, coronavirus to me, or for me rather, has been like just seeing how few people really give a fuck about the well-being of other people, you know? There's a
I don't why do you say that? Actually, first off, before I ask you why you say that, thinking about caring for old people, yes, absolutely. You know, old people were especially vulnerable, and it's almost as though you shouldn't put a bunch of people that already have COVID back in there with old people, elderly in nursing homes in New York. It's almost as though that would be the worst thing that you could do, right?
I mean, yeah. Okay, so they say that it's very unlikely for you to be able to get COVID a second time. They say that you can develop antibodies for it. So if you're putting someone back in there who is already confirmed healthy, it's been through their system or whatever, then maybe that's okay. I don't know. I'm not a fucking virologist. I'm not a doctor, so I can't really say. But, like, you know, I mean, I personally, I'd be worried about it, just nonetheless. But they say that you can't get it again, and anyone who has had a second wave of it has just had a prolonged illness and never got over it to begin with. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
sure.
To answer your other question,
you could yeah, but you could get, let's say that you had COVID and then they put you into a nursing home because they, for whatever reason, they needed more spaces on the bed, right? Or they needed more beds or whatever. And this nursing home happened to have beds. So they put all the COVID patients into the nursing homes in New York, and then a bunch of elderly people died. Now, how many of them had COVID the second time? I don't know. But I'm sure there were lots of them in the nursing home that never had COVID. And then they brought in all of these COVID patients into the nursing homes.
That's asinine.
And then you have Governor Cuomo denying any sort of wrongdoing, even though all of the evidence is there that shows even how they changed the website and what days they changed it on. I mean, it's just beyond belief. Oh, not to mention all of the nursing homes who were reporting deaths that far exceeded their capacity and also did not align with what they thought they had submitted.
So
did you hear about that one? You didn't hear about that one?
No,
No.
I mean, like, but I believe it. It's been a nonstop circus of events as far as COVID goes in the United States. The Corona circus. Yep. Yeah. The circus of COVID. Come one, come all.
Come on.
We're here, baby. Yeah, we're all here. I mean, yeah, right. That's just totally blowing it. Like, it never ends. The music just gets louder and louder and fucking drives us insane until our heads explode.
Oh, that's your next album, bro. Concept album. We gotta go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all of my. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah. Why do I feel like people have? I don't know if it's necessarily people not giving a fuck about other people. I think that a lot of people have grown restless and aren't really taking other, anyone else's, like people that are more in a predisposition to get the virus into mind. You know what I mean? Obviously there are a lot of people. I don't know who shows up in your feed. You know, you have a pretty substantial Instagram following. I'm sure that you follow at least like 1,000 people or something, right? I mean, I don't know. I follow mostly, fucking.
Yeah, but they're mostly just hot Instagram girls.
Well, okay, that's perfect. Because aren't they going to those parties? Like, I've seen so many people just hanging out, like, on boats. Let's go to Lake Havasu. We're gonna fucking party. And, like, if you're one of those people, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I'm just letting you know, not you yourself, but I mean, as a listener, you know, if you get it, you could be asymptomatic for 2 fucking weeks. That you could be passing it to other people. Like, and you know, what if this all comes out, like, if this all comes out as a big fucking scam? Like, some people have said that COVID isn't real. Like, this is something else. It's whatever. It's a big fucking scam. You know, if it comes out and we've all just been brainwashed, that'd be the most effective, insane supervillain shit that I've ever fucking, you know. I don't want to. It's so, like, I don't want to spread misinformation, or, like, you know, obviously that's not what I'm saying. I'm just fucking postulating that, like, what if that, you know, like, dude, if that were the case, that another situation, my head would just fucking explode. Like, 2020 could be the year of all the ingesting all of this crazy just matrix information, and then 2021 is gonna be the year where my head fucking just fucking watermelon, Gallagher style watermelon on the table, dude.
There's just RAM and microchips just everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it already is. I mean,
yeah, it's just God, just everywhere. Yeah, I agree. It is it's a pretty good. It's really high up there with supervillain plots, but there is one that's higher up above the virus. But I agree that it is. It's really high up there, and
bear with me. Wait, hold the thought.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I'm sorry, everybody.
No,
I'm so
it's okay.
sorry.
It's okay. I'll keep them company. All right, you guys are stuck with me now.
You know, I have a fucking air conditioner in here that my landlord refuses to come and fix, and it just spews water, and it's like my studio. So I thought it was gonna be okay. Just like coronavirus, we thought it was gonna be okay. It wouldn't happen. But this happened now, so
it's gonna be just fine. Okay.
Parallels.
I'm gonna give you something that is going to set your mind at ease.
Okay, yeah, I need that. I'd love that. Please.
Imagine that you didn't need to worry about the virus, because imagine that there was something that you could take beforehand, or even in the early stages, that had a really high, like, you know, had shown lots of success, really high chance of success. Imagine that that existed.
And it's called meth.
And it's called meth.
You could ruin your life.
You gotta do.
Just fucking, just, you'll lose your teeth, but you'll be, you know, good with coronavirus. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
You'll also, I mean, if you do the meth and PCP combo, you're going to be good. You won't even think coronavirus exists.
That's right. Meth,
so good.
PCP are the foundations of this COVID cocktail.
And a little bit of vitamin C.
Vitamin C, you actually need a lot.
Measure.
You actually need a lot of vitamin C. It turns out that our bodies can actually absorb and thrive on a lot more vitamin C than what we're being told.
Is that true? Is this because I know that the meth thing?
How do we know?
The meth thing is not true, guys. Don't take my word for it. I don't want someone to listen to this and be like, I'm gonna go get some fucking meth. Hey, Cynthia, who's your meth dealer? I know that you do a little bit of that shit. So I mean, I need to survive this COVID bullshit. Downlowd says to do meth.
Right.
We gotta get on that.
Right.
Don't do it.
Call your dealers and ask them.
Yeah.
Call
your doctor.
Ask them if they got meth or PCP. If they say no, ask them if they got hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and vitamin D3.
And and also ask them if they got bleach. Go to your doctor and just be like, hey, can you like prescribe me some Clorox in pill form, because that's what they said would. I don't know. You know, could be beneficial. We really don't know at this point in time.
Is
there's
that what they said? Who said it? Who said it?
Dude, I've seen so many different things on news outlets. I spend a lot of time on Reddit. There was one thing where it said to inject Lysol. There was one point in time where people were injecting bleach. I mean, people were sent to the hospital. So I don't know where they got the information from. I don't subscribe to those I don't subscribe to those websites or wherever it is that actually shot that shit out into the reality that we live in. But yeah, I mean everyone's trying to fight it in their own way. Don't do meth. That's basically the big takeaway from all of this. Just don't do meth. So after 20 minutes of bullshitting on COVID, which I guess it's warranted, we all are living this right now. We had to kind of vent for a second. I haven't had a moment to really talk to anyone about it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've been just kind of pent up making music, and I talk to my girlfriend occasionally. My girlfriend had it, and she's just living out. And
did she get really sick?
She did not. No,
Oh.
she had a headache.
She recovered.
She recovered. Yeah.
So it was quite mild.
For her, yeah. I mean, she's 26 and she has no other issues. So I mean, for her it was fine. I mean, I've heard about other people who have had who are in the 26, 28 who have been fucking debilitated for 6 weeks. So it differs greatly from person to person. That's the weird thing about COVID is we don't know about it. It's a new thing. It's a novel virus. We don't know what the long-term effects are. I talked to her about the vaccines. There's a huge race for vaccines right now, like AstraZeneca, Oxford. I don't know. There's just fucking name it. They're all trying to make $1 trillion doing this vaccine thing. And of course, whoever gets it is going to win the Nobel Prize as well. It'll be, world changing.
Yeah, I mean,
but
they're trying to make so many vaccines that Bill Gates ran out of glassware, right?
It's all just Bill Gates, glassware, in his home. He's like, guys, we got to get all the glassware out of my kitchen. Melinda we're not stocking it quick enough. Bezos, help me out here.
Help me. Help a brother out, Bezos.
Help a brother out, Bezos. All the billionaires just stockpile glass for you guys that don't know. That's what they probably have. Imagine being a billionaire hoarder. The things that you could have.
Aside from hoarding the money?
Well, I mean, it's not like they. I mean, I'm sure that they have a room full of money. But what is Bezos has to have a room full of money. Where does he keep all the money? When you're a billionaire and you have that much money, you have to diversify where you're keeping it. You're not just going to keep billions of your dollars at Chase Bank.
Well,
right? I don't know.
I mean, it's almost as
though
the Panama Papers might provide some insight on where you could put such massive amounts of money. Because you're right, you certainly would not want to keep it in your Chase Bank account. That would be the worst place to do it. It's almost as though some of that money, maybe a little bit of money. I don't think he has a room full of money, but I'm sure he's got some firepower in his bedroom.
And that guy straight up made $13 billion in a day or something like that. From what I saw, if you made $13 billion a day, dude, or some kind of crazy bullshit like that, you got to have a room full of ones. If you haven't thought about that, dude, if a room full of coins that you could just your nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie jump into, which would actually fucking kill you, jumping from 20 feet into a pile of coins, that's
right.
That's
the real
Disney
safety
Animation
tip,
doing us a huge disservice, dude. Because if your uncle owns a swimming pool full of coins, you're gonna probably break some bones, guys.
That's right.
Not the most efficient way to keep your coin. If anything, Bitcoin.
That's right. It's almost as though there are lots of very dangerous messages inside lots of Disney imagery over the decades.
Ooh.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Ooh. What else? Is there something else that you can pinpoint?
I mean, Pinocchio, I think, is a good one, right? Doesn't Geppetto sort of have Pinocchio to sort of lure in other little boys? I mean, there's a lot of.
Geppetto does not. He lures in little boys, dude. Geppetto.
Hold on. Let me.
He's let me fact check this really quick.
Let me look.
Did Geppetto lure in little boys to the puppet show? I think that Geppetto just wanted a boy of his own. I don't know why he did the nose thing. If he was a pervert, though, then it wouldn't have been the nose that grew. You know what I mean? Oh, that went right.
Here we go. 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 Here we go.
This
Here we
is
go.
where people
I'm
unsubscribe.
Hey, bro. If you don't have people unsubscribing, I just think
It's
you
good.
need to try harder.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Sorry. You know what? It wasn't Geppetto. It was a guy named Honest John. Here, I'm gonna send you the link.
Honest John.
Oh, sorry.
Who
Let me What happens if I screen share? Hold on.
Let's see. I don't know. We're so new to this. If we can both screen share things, man, that is just the future. And people are going to love that. You can just, you can share what you're looking at. But who the fuck is Honest John? I bet 99% of people that know about Pinocchio have no fucking clue who Honest John is. Is that the fox?
You know, I don't know. I just, you know, you mentioned Disney, you know, we talk about Disney and subversive messages like jumping into a room full of coins.
That's probably that's up there as one of the worst ones. Oh, okay.
That's the worst? Oh, wait. Oops. That's the, hold on. There's gotta, okay. I know you could do this. God damn it. I'm sorry. We're just creating more, more
issues.
More editing.
Yeah. I'm not going to edit this at all. I'm lazy.
Okay,
I told you.
okay,
I'm not. I'm
okay,
so fucking lazy, guys.
Okay.
I have no page.
Oh, here it is. Sorry. I found it.
Nice.
There we go.
I'm so ready
All
for this.
Let me know.
Oh, wait. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, Honest John and Gideon were in a tavern. A fat coachman was there too. Honest John bragged about how much money Stromboli had paid them for Pinocchio. I even pay more for the small boys, said the coachman, and he showed them his nutsack full of gold. So is that the guy on the right?
Here's the next page. Yeah, I believe this is Honest. I believe this is Honest John. This guy.
The coachman told Honest John is. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to read it? All right.
No.
You can go ahead and read.
No.
Okay.
You read it.
He brought boys to a place called Pleasure Island, where no boys should ever go. He said no boys ever return, at least not as boys. Honest John decided to catch more small boys. Who the fuck wrote this? Like, it went just straight from his like talking about it to his MO. Just then, Pinocchio and I were racing home to Geppetto. I ran very fast. I could not see Honest John stop a Pinocchio until it was too late. Yeah, you know, Honest John is a prick. Like. He's a prick weirdo, dude.
Is he a prick, or was Pinocchio trafficked?
Oh, dude, we didn't even know that there was the subtext of human trafficking in Pinocchio. We don't even think about that, huh? Wow. And look at the fox's face, dude. Look at the fox's face while Honest John is talking to him about like the small boys going to Pleasure Island. He's like, fuck yeah. That fox is like, oh, yeah. Pinocchio's a little bit too excited about this shit, too. That fox is like, that fox's jaw is on the floor right now. He's like that fucking wolf in Roger Rabbit or whatever, where he's like, oh, okay, so basically all the dudes in Pinocchio just want to fucking get little boys. I can't abide, man. I mean, what happens at the end of that story though, right? Like, don't they get, what happens to all of them? They turn into donkeys, or what happened to Honest John?
I have no idea. I've no idea. It just came to mind. It just came to mind when you made that comment about Disney films, and we didn't have to dig very deep.
No, I mean now
Could just be a coincidence. Could just be a coincidence. Definitely nothing to see here.
Well, my question is that part of the original story? Or like, how much creative agency did Disney take in fucking throwing that in? Like, they were like, someone in the Disney studios was like, hey guys, listen, come on, hey Walt, come over here. I got a suggestion for this one. How about we have them fuck the little boys? There, Walt's like, that could be good. Just get it done. We have a deadline to make. Get it fucking done.
What if it was Walt Disney who made the suggestion?
Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know. Dude, I love Walt too much, man.
I bet you also
wasn't
loved. I bet you also loved Bill Cosby. I bet you also loved Tom Hanks.
That's
I bet you also love. I bet you didn't think too.
what
I
Tom
bet you also
Hanks.
liked. I bet you also liked Ellen. I bet you also liked, maybe not like Ellen, but you had no problems with Ellen and Oprah.
What? Wait. Okay, sorry. What's wrong with Tom Hanks? What did Tom Hanks do? Everyone. What the fuck did Tom Hanks do?
I don't know, man. I don't.
Is
know.
that is that a
Nothing.
thing? No,
I
oh
don't-
my god! Don't pull the allegedly card. What did Tom Hanks do?
I don't know. You should have a look
You
on
just
his.
shut the fuck.
Bro, do you want to?
What did he do?
You want me to screen? You want me to screen share his Instagram? Do you want me to
No.
share
Don't
his Instagram?
don't screen share again. Just tell me what he did. Let's just talk about it for a second. Because let me see. I'm looking up. Let's see Tom Hanks.
All right.
What did he do? Don't screen
look
share again.
Just look through. Just look through his Instagram.
Tom Hanks had okay. What? Goodbye, Carl. Thank you for my youth-filled joy. Juneteenth. What?
Just scroll. It's not really about the most recent dozen. Just scroll slowly and see if you see any trends in what he takes photos of.
His wife.
Besides his wife.
The guy loves his wife. He's got photos of
What else does he have photos of?
his truck. This dude, it just screams that Tom Hanks doesn't know how to use Instagram. He signs everything as Hanks with an X.
Yes. Okay.
I don't.
What does Hanks?
What
does Hanks with an X seem to take photos of?
Dude, this is gloves.
Okay.
He puts gloves on the floor.
Gloves.
There's
yes.
gloves.
Yes.
What is the what's
a lot of gloves.
Shoes.
There's gloves.
Shoes. There's a couple shoes. What is this? What?
A lot of gloves.
What am I supposed to? What are you accusing Tom Hanks of?
I'm not accusing Tom Hanks of anything. I would never.
God.
I saw what happened to the last guy who accused Tom Hanks of anything. I am not accusing Tom Hanks of anything.
Someone accused Tom Hanks before?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty well documented.
What? I'm not aware of this.
Oh, I don't see why. Based on our conversation, I see no reason why you would be aware of this.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't know. I heard something recently about Ellen. What did Ellen do? I don't know what
I don't.
We're not talking about that. We're not going to go there.
Don't know what I don't know what they've done, but I can tell you about some of the some of the occurrences that happened at the top of COVID that stuck out in my mind as noteworthy.
Oh, okay. What would those be?
At the top of COVID, maybe less than a week after the pandemic was declared, Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson were probably the first American celebrities to get it, right?
Yeah, and in Australia or something, right? And they had to cancel the film that he was working on, and Rita played some show out there. I've seen the interview that he did with Conan in regards to that. I think Conan or Colbert, sorry.
Yeah. So that's a data point. At the top of COVID, Ellen was sending a lot of video messages on Twitter to John Legend and his wife, Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen, yeah.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen. Aren't they like homies though? They're
they're homies.
They're on the show like all the time. I mean.
They're definitely homies.
Right.
She was also sending messages to David Blaine, which is interesting that you would do card tricks to a magician. Right?
Yeah, because why would anyone ever message David fucking Blaine? I mean, that guy just lives in a hole, right? David Blaine right now is in a submersive take, like
That's
Houdini.
right. He's holding his
to
breath until COVID is done.
That guy doesn't even have access to his phone most of the time. I'm pretty sure, like, because he's locked up in chains trying to get out. He probably checks his phone once every 3 or 4 days.
Exactly.
David fucking Blaine. Have you seen the meme of the David Blaine videos or whatever, where like they're like, "Oh, you changed my orange soda to hot Cheetos" or whatever?
I have seen those.
Classic video from that is the most accurate David Blaine portrayal ever, by the way, guys. That's what he's actually like. I've never met him. I mean, I'd love to. David Blaine, if you want to come on the podcast, I mean, I'm sure that he'd be like John Cena. We wouldn't be able to see him because it would just be so fucking magical. But yeah, okay. So Ellen was messaging celebrities. Nothing seems out of place there. She probably messages a lot of celebrities. I mean, she's got a huge outlet.
Oh,
right?
Of course. She's
got 90 million followers on Instagram.
100%.
I did see. I saw Scooter Braun posted something in regards to wishing her the best, and like, you know, that there was some kind of controversy, but I fully wasn't expecting to talk about this on the show today. We've gone down one hell of a rabbit hole here, you know. But you know, maybe for all intents and purposes, and just to keep the show rolling along, you know, if anyone does happen to know what's going on here, or you want us to talk about it in the future, you know, tweet me and or post in the comments, and we can go on about this. But I do want to jump into another segment just for the sake of time, and you know, I've got you here as a guest, so I want to jump off you know, and begin the show really truly, since we've tangented for fucking ever, with a segment that I want to call Get to Know Gootex. All right. So I want to just
there's like a little someday there'll be like a button you press to play a little jingle for that part. Get to know the guest.
If I wasn't so lazy and I was a little bit more liquid, I would have bought one of those like Twitch controllers where you can do the sound effects and shit. But yeah, Get to Know Gootex. There we go. We've got a little theme song, right? So just a few questions to kind of you know, add the sprinkles to the ice cream sundae. So if you were trapped on an island with only one snack food, what would it be and why?
Oh man, the snack food of choice would be.
Yeah. Are you a snacker?
Man, those chili. Excuse me, the chili, dried chili mango.
Oh, okay. The dried mango with the chili on it.
That's
the
right.
Tahini or the chamoy.
So good. Yeah. Oh yeah, this chamoy is so good.
So you would never stop eating
that. Well, I mean, if I could only take one snack, I mean, I think that would be pretty high up on the list. Man, those Cliff's crunchy peanut butter bars, not the other ones, only the peanut butter flavor.
Delicious and nutritious. Nothing will keep you going like Cliff Bar. Sponsor me.
Right.
Sponsor. Yeah, speaking of Tom Hanks before as well, it's like, you know, Castaway with only Cliff Bars and fucking mango chamoy. Go figure. Where was Zemeckis? He could have done so much product placement right there. Like, Zemeckis, you weren't fucking thinking. In the future, let's get that going. You know what I mean? Castaway 2. Tom Hanks, you know, he goes down in a plane and he's like, not this shit again. Ends up on the fucking island. He's like, all right, I know exactly what to do. Creates a new Wilson, puts a hole in it so that he can fuck it, you know, because now he's really thinking and cooking with gas. Rita Wilson's not there. I mean, she plays his wife in this version, so it's like, you know, like we also throw her into the mix just to get her that extra movie cash. And yeah, Cliff Bars as a sponsor. Instead of leaving the island, maybe he does it on purpose. That would be such a great twist.
Tom Hanks goes to the island on purpose to fuck Wilson.
Yeah,
I think you're onto something. It's almost as though Tom Hanks goes to the island all the time. It's almost as though Tom Hanks has a thing for the island. This island, you know, it almost makes me think that there's more to this island. There must be something to the island that Disney is written about in these Disney books. That, you know, Pinocchio and whatnot, you know, they talk about this island.
Well, the island's owned by Jeffrey Epstein, so that's like the fucking big You know, like that's the big fucking
no,
twist in
Jeffrey
the end.
Epstein owns the island that the Disney books are based on,
But
and
he's
Tom
dead.
Hanks likes to go there.
No,
Now
no,
you
no.
got
I
now
said he's,
see now you got yourself an animated Castaway sequel. But
well,
yes,
no,
but yes,
I think that this
I
is
think you're onto something
that's
now.
that's like too that we would have to pitch that to like Christopher Nolan, dude. That's like way too intense. It's we got to bring
I
it back
think it's
pull back
already
a little bit.
Based
I
on the
just like the
relationships of Disney, I think I don't
why
think
is
it has.
Disney involved in this? It was a touch-tone picture. I'm pretty sure. Disney doesn't have to be involved in this shit, all right? So like look, I like the idea. We get instead of having them do it, we get Pornhub to produce, and instead of Tom Hanks, we get like some male porn star. He just goes and fucks the ball. That's it. 15 minutes. Done.
Bro, if there is a porn producer out there that can do the porn parody version of Epstein's Island,
No,
holy
no,
fuck.
no. Wait,
Whatever
wait,
you do, don't
Hold
do
up.
that.
Don't do that one. That
Don't do
one's
that.
not gonna make it to.
That one-
I don't
that-
think that's gonna make it to mainstream media, dude.
That one will get you killed. Sorry. If you do that movie, you may experience the type of depression that leads to the types of suicide that former presidents and their wives may be traced to.
I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our FBI, CIA, and Secret Service fans listening right now. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Patriots, for your service. Where we go one, we go all.
And so speaking of all of those people that may be listening right now and how peeved they are, do you happen to have any pet peeves?
Pet peeves.
Yeah. What's the most major pet peeve for you?
My most major pet peeve is when people talk. Like, I experienced this a couple days ago with a friend and a friend of that friend, and they, I've done podcasts, I've done interviews, I've done everything for like 15 plus years. I can hold a conversation, I can listen to people who talk a lot, I can listen to people who talk a little bit. I have the capacity to listen. So when I come across people who expect me to listen, and then when I start talking, they talk over me and then shut me down or act like the 30 seconds that I talked was like too long for them to hold their attention. That really grinds my gears. And here's the thing, it happens so much. It's an epidemic, and I don't know who's to blame. I don't think there's anybody. We're all to blame. We're all to blame for this epidemic of the lack of attention span of many, many people. And I hate to say it, but I think it's a young person thing, because I feel like I can talk to old people longer, just time it. Just start counting in your head. Just do an informal survey and notice whether or not the older people in your life they may not agree, but they'll just sit and just actually listen. Whether or not they hear you is a different story, but they will sit and listen longer than young people.
Sure. I think that listening is definitely an acquired skill, and I mean that'll just benefit you no matter what. They say in sales, just silence is one of the most powerful tools. So
absolutely,
just listening and I mean, no matter what you do, you always want to make someone, you want to have someone feel heard. And I mean, from an even authentic standpoint, because if you do nothing but talking, then it's kind of a brick wall situation. So so thank you for that. All right, so we're running so long right now already.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's my fault. We talked about Tom Hanks fucking the ball, and we did so many different coronavirus, all these different things. This is great. I enjoy having good conversation. I've just got a lot that we want to jump into right here. So we'll do one more of these questions, and then we'll go ahead and move on. Let's see. Top 3 fast food items ranked from best to worst.
Top 3 fast food items. Well,
they don't all have to be from the same place.
I think at the top of my list, if you want to truly think about only fast food, because I think a
Gotta be
place like
fast food.
I think a place like Shake Shack is like it toes the line. It's not true fast food
Yeah,
because
but
there's no
it is
drive-through.
okay. No, but I think that you can include something that's on that border. That's
Okay.
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 Yeah.
The Shake
We're
Shake
going
Shack
about the rules here.
the Shake Shack Shack Burger is
Oh!
number one. Number one. For me,
So good.
I would love to see an item that could be the undisputed fast food item king. I would love to see something better than the Shack Burger.
True
I don't
endorsement right here.
I don't think it.
Have you had the
don't think
Shack
it's-
Stack?
I have had the Shack Stack. Also really
You're
good,
not
but
about
I actually like that the Shack Burger is only one patty because that allows me to eat more of them. To have the full experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
So I would say
sure.
I think that's number one.
Who
think,
can argue with that? It
hey.
allows me to eat more of them. So
That's
yeah,
right.
why not?
That's really high up there. I think number
That's
two.
your best.
I think probably number two is the Wendy's Frosty, the original Frosty.
That's so dang.
Yeah, and the third would be a toss-up between, I don't know, you could say maybe McDonald's fries, maybe. I think McDonald's fries are pretty, because In-N-Out fries are garbage, Shake Shack fries suck, Five Guys, I mean, who even goes to Five Guys? So really, when it comes to French fries, I think McDonald's is king.
Five Guys is pretty good, dude.
You
But
know,
not
you
the-
might
I
be
mean-
right. You might be right. I honestly, I haven't even had it recently.
Full disclosure, I don't love their fries. My girlfriend goes so hard for their Cajun fries, like the Cajun seasoning. The thing about Five Guys is they'll just fuck you up with fries. They'll put they'll just overload you. Like get the small thing, they just like fill the whole bag with they don't give a fuck. McDonald's French fries. I like extra crispy fries. So those fries, those are more like they have more potato like texture. I do like McDonald's fries. I think that those are classic. I recently watched one of those YouTube videos where they were talking about like people trying McDonald's from the UK and from over here, and there are just so many synthetic ingredients in the fast food here. It was kind of jaw dropping. I felt like the fox from Pinocchio when I was like, but less of like a. It was more of like a shock kind of thing. It was more of a shock. I mean, that would be me if it's a Shake Shack Stack Island. That would be like yeah. I like the Shack Stack. I'd be like, ooh, tell me more. What was that guy's name? Dirty Harry.
Yeah. Oh, Honest John.
Honest John. Tell me more about that Shake Shack Island, Honest John. I'm about hitting that shit up right now. And Burger
trust
Island.
that guy.
I'll go there. I'll hit that. Honest John. Yeah, I'll hit that shit up.
Right.
Yeah, we got nothing but burgers here. Fuck yeah, I'm down. What kind?
How do you get on those flight logs?
What is the worst burger?
Oh, the worst burger is Whataburger. You ever had one?
I'm from Texas originally.
Oh, bro. What part?
Okay, so admittedly, I am from El Paso, and my
family's from El Paso.
No way.
Yeah, I've been at least twice.
Unification here. El Paso is it's an interesting place. I will say that they don't do the Whataburger as good as San Antonio, as good as Austin. Like they've got Whataburger over there has more personality. The one thing that El Paso does have on lock is the green chili Whataburger. They just get it imported. There's I don't know. They don't do that in Central Texas, which to me is kind of mind blowing. All right. So the best and worst burgers that we now know what Gootecks' favorite is. So let's go ahead and now that our whistle's wet, we've learned a bit about the fundamentals here. I guess let's move on to the rest of the show. Without further ado, let's jump in. So if you can, I know that you mentioned that you have some family over in El Paso. Can you tell us a little bit about your origins as Gootecks? Where are you originally from?
Oh yeah, I'm from Southern California, but my parents, my mom is my parents were born here. My mom is Chinese. My dad's Hispanic, and so that side of my family is from El Paso. Like my grandpa, like that side of my family is yeah, they're still there. So it's been interesting, I guess, to grow up, and I just coincidentally happened to grow up in an area that was like such a large concentration of Chinese people and other Asian people outside of outside of China, which is, I mean, I don't know how long you've been living in SoCal, but I've been to El Paso, and it's not like that there.
No, it's almost the polar opposite. You'd be very hard pressed to find. There's people of all kinds all over the place, right? I mean, America is a diverse country, but El Paso is right on the border. I've talked about this in previous episodes. So there's a lot of people that you'll find from Mexico, from Juarez, and a lot of great culture there. The food reflects it. El Paso is, again, a very interesting place. I would recommend going and if you do go to El Paso, go check out like the downtown area, the more historic areas. It's pretty interesting. Very cool that you're from there. A lot of folks know you because of CCTV, obviously, and the personality that you've built around fighting games. What were a few of the most impactful video games of your formative years? And I guess as a sub question, like, do you think that they still hold their value as great games today?
Man, when I was growing up, I mean, without question, it was, Street Fighter 2 and all of its variations that were the most impactful on me. I mean, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct. I mean, that was what I spent a lot of my younger years doing. And I would say between those main fighting games and like Mario Kart, like that was, I don't know. I never even really played other games because growing up I didn't have, I didn't have a console, so I would just either have to go play at the arcade or go play at friends' houses. And so for me, what really drove me and what really made me fall in love with the genre was that fighting games were the only games you could play at the arcade, where if you were good, you got to play again. Because everything else was just, single player or co-op or whatever. But Street Fighter 2 was one of, if not the first arcade game that was one-on-one, where the winner would stay on to play whoever came up next. And so that inspired me, because it was like fighting games was the only, well, it was like, okay, well, if I just practice and get good and get better, then eventually I could beat these, older kids. And so yeah, I mean, that sort of, drove me to get good.
So there was definitely the element of competition that kind of kept you coming back there. And I mean, the fact, obviously, that they were so prevalent in the arcade environment and you didn't have a console yourself, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Just as like a follow-up question, how do you feel about the fact that so few arcades exist now?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I remember it from my
tragedy.
youth, Yeah.
It's
kind of sad.
A real shame that so many arcades have just not lasted over the years. And I would say it's not because people stopped playing video games. Obviously, that only grew. But at least I would say in the late 90s, early 2000s, when most arcades, typically went out of business in North America, that was sort of during this transition period where PlayStation 1 and, PC gaming became more prevalent. So I guess, there sort of was a shift in dynamic where instead of going to the arcade to play afterwards, maybe you didn't have to do that because you could just play at home. And so
it's a convenience aspect, but that kind of kills the social element of going out and gaming with people that you don't know, and like competing with people that you don't know. I mean, it's funny, I didn't even really think about this coming into this conversation, but it is kind of a romantic idea, the whole arcade environment, which brought a lot of people together and obviously, fostered love for the culture with people like you. I mean, who've built a career around it. And that the fact that doesn't really exist anymore, it's just an entirely new echelon of gaming and gamers rather that are now in the scene competitively and even beyond that. So aside from fighting games, I know that you said that you played Mario Kart. Are there any other game genres that you really enjoy?
I even what you'll find is that the further you get into the gaming industry, the less time you actually have to play games. And so over the years, despite the fact that I've traveled the world to compete and built a network of amazing people all across the world through playing fighting games in person, there's just not a lot that really piques my interest nowadays, even though I guess if you think about it, like I'm probably one of the few people on the planet that could just sit and play games on the internet from now until forever and make really good money or whatever doing it. I just don't have that desire because it's far more interesting to like do almost anything else at this point. Except for like sim games, but I say I like sim games and I do when I'm doing it, but I don't like it's more fun. I'm playing the meta game right now, so the way I see it is like I can always come back to gaming at another point in time when it's more compelling, but right now everything looks more interesting. I mean, obviously, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Like I look at what, guys like yourself are doing and in terms of producing and performing, I'm like, God damn it. Like that's way more, that would be way better. But,
I mean,
here we are.
Everyone has their niche, right? But I feel like just to piggyback on that, I think as fundamentally, fundamentally with CCTV and with everything that you've done thus far and hosting and doing your own podcast and so on and so forth, I mean, you are an entertainer. So it's important for entertainers to diversify. So there's nothing that can tell you that, you can't. And I think this is actually a conversation that we had the first time we ever met. And like, that's kind of where we clicked, which is on New Year's. And I was talking about, just diversifying whatever it is that you do. So yeah, I understand. I understand when you do something professionally, the magic kind of dies a little bit. And it's like, it's so important to garden, like to nurture that garden though, because if it's something that you're good at and that you've built a fan base around, like there's something truly fucking amazing and magical about that, and like people keep coming back for that. And it is a catch-22 because you're like, fuck. I mean, how forgiving are these fans going to be? Like the way that I always look at it is like, look, if you're a listener at home or you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying the podcast and you don't fuck with my music, I mean, that's just another way for you to like, maybe one day you will check out my music if you haven't heard it yet. Like maybe you haven't. Are you DJing? Are you doing anything else aside from the gaming stuff? Or
at the top of lockdown, yeah, I was DJing and streaming just because like it was really it was cool to see. It was cool to see a huge influx of producers and DJs getting into streaming and stuff. I feel like all that, it's really just scratching the surface. It's not even, oh God, it's not even close. Once people understand what they should have been doing all along, I think it's going to shift dramatically.
So do you find anything particularly exciting about the fact that everyone from all over the entertainment spectrum really are jumping into the stream game, or do you feel like it's kind of oversaturated at this point?
I don't think that it's oversaturated. I think that even though it looks like it might be oversaturated, I mean, okay, let's put it this way. If you're just some random dude who decides today that they want to be the next ninja on Twitch, it's not that it can't be done. It's that I think largely that ship has sailed. However, when you look at, let's say, a lot of pro wrestlers, a lot of comedians, certainly, musicians as well, that are getting into the idea of streaming and then realize how handy it is to have money coming in that's not attached to the current systems that they're already locked into. I think they're going to find it's quite liberating.
Again, diversification. And I think that, it's all about pushing from different angles with that as well. It's probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably not enough to just stream. I mean, you also have to cross capitalize and be doing your YouTube channel and posting your highlights there and all that good stuff. So to kind of just piggyback on that, who do you think right now is one of the most outrageous personalities in gaming / streaming? I mean, there's guys like, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these dudes. Like there's Video Game Donkey, Asmongold, JonTron's been around forever. There's Jack Black, who's recently, started his own channel. Who do you, and I guess who do you think should be in the streaming world if they're not already?
Who should? Oh, let me tell. Oh,
Yeah.
here's a
There's
hot
a couple
take.
questions there, but
Here's a hot take. Okay, so I don't watch anything.
okay.
I don't watch anything on Twitch. I think not because I don't think the platform is good. There's just very little content on there that I find compelling. Not to say that it couldn't happen. Like, for example, virtual EDC Rave-a-thon, I thought was going to be kind of dumb, but I had a blast. I was like, oh shit, this is the experience that other people have on Twitch, except for gaming. And I was like, now I get it. But
It was a more nuanced perspective.
Yeah, well, it was unique because there hadn't been something on Twitch that I gave a fuck about enough to watch for 3 days straight. There just wasn't, because anything that would be on that level in gaming, I would already be at. Therefore, if I'm not at it, then I don't even really think about it. But in terms of who should be getting into streaming right now,
Sure. In entertainment or wherever,
here is the hot take. I'm sure nobody will listen, but anybody trying to do anything political on any side of the spectrum should be doing it on Twitch specifically.
Wow, that's a pretty unexpected answer. I was totally thinking that you would say something like Guy Fieri. It should totally be Paula Deen. No, I'm just kidding, not her.
Definitely, there exists a huge opportunity for all spectrums. Like everybody on the entertainment spectrum could or should be doing live streaming, but looking at the current political climate in America, Twitch and YouTube are largely untouched. And if people in political power or vying for political power understood what was going on the platform and understood how to use it, their campaigns would never be the same.
So why do you say that though? Because it gives you another level of understanding of who that person is, I guess. I mean, in order to stream successfully, you have to spend hours doing it. So I think these people would probably argue with, well, I simply don't have the time. But on the other side of that, it's so advantageous to your relationships with your fan base and how you cultivate that. So I can see the benefit from both ends. I mean, a lot of people don't really know who they vote for or what these people stand for. And when you have an unfiltered 7-hour stream, some of that is inevitably going to come out. So yeah, I can definitely see the benefit there. I mean, anyone who has a platform, from your perspective, and I also tend to kind of agree with this, should be streaming to some degree. But I think that, coming from the electronic music side of things, I think that the DJ streams are extremely played out. I think that, I've done a few of them myself. And it's great. I think that Insomniac does a really, really fucking good job. They've got the production value, and they're not the only ones. There's some out there that just have incredible production value. But I mean, and there was a period of time when this all started, when there were so many people just doing it from home, and that's fine. It's just that how do you continue to stay, how do you continue to foster that retention if you're doing the same thing over and over,
Ooh, yeah. See, now we're getting somewhere, right?
But what it comes down to is like those people, it's like, that's how talented are you? Are you offering something different? And DJing is really just an audio kind of, you're only able to engage through the audio. So
What are you trying to say?
Sorry, guys,
Wait. What are you trying to say? That DJing is like not an incredibly difficult skill to learn and
for
present
anyone
in
that's
the modern world.
for
What?
anyone that's listened to the podcast before, I'm just double tapping that DJing is not difficult. Like being a
Thank you.
great
Thank you.
being a great fucking
yes.
DJ is a different statement. And I've
Right.
said this before,
course.
and I mean, like, I'm not expecting anyone that's listening, if you're a viewer at home or a listener at home, to go and trudge through the previous podcasts. But I always liken this to being a pro skateboarder. So there's a difference between skateboarding, because anyone can skateboard, and being fucking Tony Hawk. There's a difference between picking up some USBs and just playing some music, and being 8-track or being craze and doing true turntablism and actually being, or Carl Cox is a great fucking DJ, so there's a massive difference there. And when it comes down to it, and you're just doing DJ sets and you're doing them weekly, and it's like you're playing a lot of the same content, and you're not really doing it in such a way that's truly engaging, different, interesting each time. It's like, why are you still doing this? Because in my opinion, it totally it dilutes the brand value, because when things do come back, it's like people will be like, I've seen this guy, like, what's really the difference? It's like, then it's just the social aspect of being with people in the crowd and seeing this person perform, and that comes down to your productions. So your productions sorry, this is a hot take, but your productions and your production value, what it is that you're doing with your brand, is paramount to what you can do when you're just DJing. So how I urge you to question this yourself. I'm sorry that I've talked so much, but like, as someone, if you are a DJ or someone that is streaming and doing this kind of stuff, I urge you to think about how you're going to take the next step to make it nuanced yourself. You'll notice that I haven't done that many streams recently. Part of that is because my laptop is a complete piece of shit. But the other side is, I don't want to just completely oversaturate streams with and I'm not saying I DJ the same thing each time. I've been DJing for 10 years. I feel like I can offer something different each time, but like, I don't want to just be doing the same thing. I don't want to be just DJing. And I brought out a Roland Octopad. I've been drumming, and I just don't. If you're in a situation where you're doing the Insomniac stream, that's great. They've got the production value. You're offering something for people to sink their teeth into. So how are you offering people something to sink their teeth into? This is the 5 minutes or 7 minutes, however fucking long I've been talking about this shit. Boop, mic drop. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. You make really really good points, and I definitely can appreciate the perspective of not wanting to like dilute or overextend the brand, right? Because I understand that perspective for a lot of and I think that perspective is pretty common. I think for a lot of people in the scene that were already actively like playing shows and had their shit together and whatnot, right? For those people, it may make sense to not, run it into the ground, I guess, so to speak. However, I would argue that it might seem as though, it's not. It might seem as though that's the best thing to do in your position. But imagine that you were somebody, imagine people that weren't in that position. Imagine the person who had been DJing from home and had been practicing because, for years, because they were trying to, play offline gigs. But they never really got to that level for whatever reason.
So you're able to cultivate a fan base through the online platform. And I respect that. Yeah. I think that I totally get that. I'm not trying to devalue streaming whatsoever. I think that there's tons of value, and like some people have actually been able to pivot that into like growing a true fan base online through this coronavirus. And I think that's fucking amazing. If you're doing that, then more power to you. But what I think is a general, very, very general statement is you should also diversify yourself with your streams. Yes, so 100% you should not only just be doing DJ streams. If you're focusing on streaming, like, do other things as well. Like, there are plenty of other things that you can be doing on Twitch. There's fucking people who do meme reviews, movie fucking commentary, video game playthroughs. you don't have to be ninja, but you can also offer something different, you know? So that's where I'm coming from. I may be wrong, you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Oh, no. I think you're spot on. Like, every content creator needs to provide value for the audience. And I think what you're describing about, you know, sort of just doing the same thing as a DJ over and over and over is kind of the music equivalent of being the person who just starts out streaming from their bedroom just by themselves. It's like, okay, you could do that, but you know, you may not have enough years left in your lifetime in order to really get where you're trying to go with that strategy. Because oftentimes what people do is they do the opposite of diversify. They put all their eggs into one basket and only do that one thing. So like, let's say, you know, using the example of streaming for 7 hours a day instead of, let's say, streaming for 1 hour a day and using another hour of that day to take what you did and then post it on the other platforms, or take what you did and make it a little bit better for tomorrow, rather than trying to think that you can grind your way to a massive following. At least not on Twitch. You're not going to be able to do that by talent or what. You're not going to be able to do that alone. Like, you need what you make on Twitch to eventually propagate to other platforms, which will drive traffic back to your Twitch page when you go live.
Sure.
And even then, you're still really just putting more. You're just adding cents to the Jeff Bezos $13 billion a day pile, really.
Right. Well, it's not. I mean, with adoption, it makes it even more of an upstream battle. You know, like, you're still going to have to work no matter what. So other people are doing it. Some of these people may have more of a platform than you. You have to compete with them to get the viewership. But I mean, when you earn a fan, no matter what. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my point is, when you earn a fan, no matter what, it's a beautiful thing. And especially if you got to treat those people right and have them, you know, continue to come back. So speaking of streaming, and especially Twitch, you know, you definitely have a peculiar relationship with that platform and their users, as a good number of people obviously recognize you from time to time as PogChamp. According to Know Your Meme, your emoji is still regularly used over 500,000 times every single day.
Probably
so
more than that.
Online,
several million times.
I mean, okay, so that was from January of this year. So yeah, you're probably right. It's probably used way more every single day, especially since more people are on Twitch these days. So since its inception online, you know, you've embraced it, you monetized it. I've seen your face on face masks, on throw pillows, on shirts, you name it. And in terms of acceptance, you really went with the flow of it becoming sensational. So I really respect that. Do you feel like this made a difference in the longevity of the meme, so to speak?
Without question, the longevity of the meme probably has to do with my own ability to stay relevant, either on purpose or by accident, as well as not being heavy-handed with infringements of intellectual property, I guess you could say. I mean,
right.
I can tell you there are no officially licensed PogChamp face masks nor throw pillows. Not that they couldn't be officially licensed, just that they're not.
Okay. I found them on Google, you know. So,
yeah, I mean, they're on Google, they're on Redbubble, and honestly, anybody out there that sees something with the PogChamp face on it that is for sale, or even is on a platform that's not Twitch, feel free to send me screenshots at Gootecks. I don't know what the reward will be, but I'm certainly not opposed to finder's fees, because what it comes down to is I'm a citizen of the internet and have been for over 2 decades. And right. I can certainly appreciate there's nobody that loves a good meme more than me.
Sure. I mean, The way
So,
that you handled the entire situation is super interesting, and I think that that's why it was so widely embraced. Your friend and your co-host Mike Ross said initially you didn't really know that PogChamp was everywhere when it blew up. It was kind of like a slow burn, right?
Oh, it was a super slow burn because it was just one of those things where one day you wake up and your face is on every Twitch chat room. You just gotta wait long enough, and that was a surprise because there was never any sort of like conversation or agreement or permission given. And as a citizen of the internet, it's one thing when meme lords are gonna meme, but it's another when the people controlling the people who use it or co-opt it maybe make $13 billion a day in a post-COVID world.
Right.
There's a little difference.
Can you describe the experience of waking up and truly going viral as the literal representation of excitement on that platform?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was actually really underwhelming because it was so long ago that there wasn't actually there wasn't a day where it was like, oh, all of these things happened. It was more like, oh, there was just a day where the Twitch chat just all of a sudden has my face. And then that obviously that grew, but it wasn't like one day. It was like, whoa.
It wasn't overnight. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It was one day. The overnight part was when they put it, when they put it there without permission.
They incorporated it, and then the adoption, I guess, from the internet was more of a slow burn.
Well, but yeah, because
it
started as a Team Fortress meme.
Right. Sure. Yeah. And then it was picked up on websites like 4chan, and it's all over the internet at this point in time. Is it safe to say that your life changed at all after this was birthed into the universe?
Without question. Without question. Yeah. It is. It's like the lightning striking, I guess, and being able to catch that perfect photo at just the right moment, I guess. But also, it's probably different because of everything else that maybe someday will be included in some sort of screenplay or totally fictitious book.
A screenplay about your life. That doesn't include. Just make sure that Tom Hanks and Castaway are not involved in that in any context, right?
No.
What is the speaking of context? What's the craziest context that you've seen your face utilized in? Because you said Team Fortress, right? I've seen Deadpool 2. There was like some kind of promo or bullshit where someone threw your face on that. Not official promo, but someone was like stoked about the sequel, right? And they used the PogChamp face as Deadpool. I don't know.
I think it. Okay. There's that. I guess what comes to mind is Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park started streaming, somewhere during COVID, and then I guess people kept using the PogChamp face. And then he was like, "What the fuck is what is this?" And then I honestly I haven't even seen the clip because I'm just like, I'm sure it doesn't it's not me. You see, it's not Gootex the person. It's just a thing that exists that is a thing. But that's pretty interesting, I guess.
I mean, it is it's not you personally, but it is a part of your life. It's an ancillary part of something that is part of your brand. I mean, that's exploded. It goes without saying that, I mean, has being recognized as PogChamp in any situation ever put you in a lucky, situation? Has it ever gotten you laid?
To my knowledge, no.
Oh shit. So for
Uh,
anyone out there wondering, if you go viral, it ain't the payoff ain't that great.
Certainly not in that regard, but I will say there was one time. I don't know if it's still on the channel or if we just like wiped it, but there was one instance a couple of years ago at E3 where I was walking around with the IRL backpack, and then got recognized, and then there were these girls that were like, "Oh my," and they were quite attractive. They were like, "Oh my God, you're PogChamp," and I'm like, in my head, if you watch the clip, I'm like trying to like hold it together, like play it cool. I think I did an okay job of that, but it didn't matter.
Yeah. You were just
that
like,
was
hell yeah.
That was the first time that there was even any sort of like tiny tangible benefit. And there's been a few other times where when I meet people and then they find that, they're like, whoa, and then it becomes kind of a talking point, but it's not like what you would think it is. But I will say that I've gotten, like, for example, I've been on the Trainwrecks TV Scuffed podcast like many times, and I'm not on there because I'm Gootecks. I'm on there because I just happen to be PogChamp, so which gives me a sort of window into the Twitch streamer A-list, right? Because if if you're like Twitch royalty and fucking PogChamp is like, hey, what's going on, guys? You kind of have to open the door.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's you embracing it though, and not, and there's two sides. Like, you could have been like, oh, what the fuck, especially from the fact that there were no reach out to you. There were no papers signed, no documents, no approval. So you just appeared, and I think that you've really done the best that you could with it. So more power to you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I certainly a battle with the ego, at some points, because it's like, oh well, sure, yeah, I'm the PogChamp guy, and I got a body of work in the fighting game community, of which, I mean, I'm not just some fucking random Johnny Donuts that just happened to be captured in that one moment. It's not like that. So I had to deal with that, process that, and it's fine now. Now it's totally cool. It's totally fine because, hey, you know what? If I can be because here's the thing, like, we haven't even scratched the surface with this shit. Like, it's only gotten this way from like being very hands off. But I also think that there's some value, opportunity, and significant risk in really activating it in the way that it could go. Because, I mean, look at Pepe the Frog, right? Like, was Pepe co-opted into the quote unquote far right wing, or was Pepe destined for that from the get-go? I say
I can't
Pepe,
speak to. Yeah,
my money is on co-opted.
I mean, it was picked up, I guess. I mean, I really don't know much about Pepe the Frog. I know that there was some kind of parallel between the PogChamp and Pepe kind of thing being used on the 4chan platform. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
It could have been PogChamp, not Pepe, in a parallel universe.
Right. So that would, you wouldn't have been able to really leverage or pivot that in any beneficial way. I don't.
Well,
I mean,
here that depends on your perspective, right? Because you might think that you couldn't have pivoted Pepe into something beneficial. However, I would argue there is a huge market for Pepe anything.
What does Pepe even represent?
I would say, in my opinion, Pepe represents Trump and the truth.
Is that what it was like was
what
that
it was intended for?
the definition from was that what it was intended for?
Doubt it.
No?
Doubt it. I think it was I think Pepe was probably sometime we'll both do our homework and we can circle back on another podcast with our homework on Pepe, but I suspect that Pepe was just an innocent meme created thoughtlessly, just on a whim. And
so for anyone if anyone knows,
let us know.
Let us know. Tweet me at Downlowd here. Tweet Gootecks. Post in the comments. So we spoke briefly about artists in general moving more towards streaming on Twitch and just streaming in general. Speaking of music, I'm sure you've seen the multitude of call-outs that have happened in the EDM front with Bass Nectar, Billy Kenny, Space Jesus, and more even recently facing the chopping block. Would you say that there's any toxic or overall reprehensible behavior that exists in the community of pro gamers specifically?
Well, yeah, most definitely. God, where do I start?
Not necessarily only in terms of, sexual harassment, but just as a general statement. Like, what is something that really plagues the community right now? It's a tough question. Oh,
God. You know what really Okay, here's what really plagues gaming, esports, and Twitch streamers. What plagues them is predatory behavior from people more experienced in business. And when you combine that behavior with people who are young, have a lot of time on their hands, really naive, and really just sort of willing to do whatever they're told to do for less than respectable compensation or just for free. I mean, obviously, I'm sure, any entertainment industry is going to be, there's going to be no shortage of people who are new to the industry, who are trying to break in, and who get taken advantage of by people who have been in charge or maybe even designed the system. And that's not something that's unique to gaming. However, I think that because gaming is so new compared to music and movies and TV and stuff, there's not the same, people don't have the same guards up, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So for example, there's a lot of esports organizations out there. Well, maybe not a lot, but I know of at least one that, they'll approach different players or content creators and they'll say, hey, like, we have all this money, we got funded, or we're just, inherently rich, and we're going to make this, we're going to build an esports team, and we want you to be a part of it. We can't pay you any money, even though we claim to have a lot of it, or we can pay you a little bit, even though we claim to have a lot of it. And then, together, we're going to go out there and we're going to get these sponsors so that we can make gaming great again, or whatever.
Sure.
Whatever.
And
however they want to put it.
It's kind of the promise of helping that individual entity build their platform through them or something like that. Like kind of how Machinima did that way back when, but there was no payoff whatsoever. Right? And I'm not the first person to talk about this. There are videos galore on YouTube.
Here's the thing. Machinima had lots of predatory practices, such as their content creator contract, which would essentially entitle them to own your videos in perpetuity, aka from now until the end of time.
Right.
And so those sort of during peak machinima, those contracts got sent out to, lots of people who, signed their lives away. They signed their content and lives away. Personally, Mike and I are actually a machinima success story because they gave us our first break. And the very first, Cross Counter, the channel actually originated as Cross Counter, the Machinima Respawn YouTube show, which we then, launched our own channel. And luckily, we were saved by a very, very, very kind, smart, wise gentleman within Machinima who was like, oh, don't sign that contract. Sign this 2-year contract that I'm going to send you. Sign that one instead.
Wow.
Saved our asses.
That is so serendipitous.
Luke Steepleton. Well, the way that we came across Machinima was quite serendipitous, or some might say it was fate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's serendipitous in that sense. I think that's like fate looking out for you.
We were protected for sure.
A lot of people got fucked, and you can watch there are YouTube videos, guys. If you look into it, just look into the truth behind Machinima, and yeah, you can do your research. It's all out there. Pewdiepie is another one, I guess, who kind of got out of that. He had some kind of involvement with them to begin with, and lo and behold, Felix became one of the largest YouTube personalities in existence. It's really, really, it's funny, these kind of things exist in parallel throughout the entertainment industry. Obviously, I said Bass Nectar was one of those artists that was called out, and he was also called out not only for his predatory practices in terms of sexual harassment and with minors or younger women, so on and so forth, but also for his predatory business practices. And that really is it's heartbreaking when you hear about someone that does that kind of shit, because especially if you're a fan of their music or the content that they're putting out, and you just think like, how could I have endorsed this? How could I have not seen this happening? And especially if you're a big fan of Bass Nectar and go to the festivals and you buy the merchandise and you're downloading every single, and then that kind of shit comes out. So what it comes down to is as a general statement, even if you're not in entertainment, do your best to be a good fucking person. But if you're, that goes without saying, but if you're garnering a fan base and building your entire tribe around being a good person, like Bass Nectar was, being politically active and trying to fight for the right thing, and then this kind of shit comes out, it fucking bites you in the ass, dude. Enough about that, though. We've gone into fucking another rabbit hole, So previously you mentioned the stakes getting much higher in the near future in regards to professional gaming and the fight game arena specifically. Understandably, I'm sure there's a good amount of betting that goes on around events like the Capcom Cup, other events like that, as well as other pro competitions rather. Do you envision Vegas-style mega casinos solely dedicated to esports in the near future? This is a great tangent from what we were just previously talking about. So, high stakes, right? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't anticipate big, casinos being built to facilitate the gambling on esports. I don't foresee esports gambling exploding in the near future. However, I will say that the main reason I moved to Vegas was because I saw the potential of fighting games blowing up in Vegas, because it had been the home of EVO, the largest fighting game tournament on the planet, for I don't know, over a decade. It seems like, who even knows? Yeah, well over a decade. So I saw that potential, and that's one of the major reasons why I moved, because I foresee a future where basically esports and fighting games will be gambled on through crypto, whether anybody likes it or not, whether it is legal in your jurisdiction or not. It is going to happen. There is no question in my mind. It's only a question of when.
Right.
That's the only question. because the technology already exists to do peer-to-peer or one-to-many betting through crypto. It's not a technological barrier. The challenge is, I guess, a cultural barrier. And now without offline events in the foreseeable future, let's say, at least halfway through 2021, if not beyond. I mean, there's just no way that large events are coming back anytime soon. And to me, that only prolongs the further adoption of gambling within esports. However, if it takes, there's no question that if it takes another 5 years for, let's say, current generation, like 13-year-old, or I don't know, 16-year-old Fortnite players to turn 21 and then be able to celebrate by gambling their life savings away on Fortnite.
The bar mitzvah money.
That's right. The bar mitzvah money will be gambled upon with crypto. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's been, the writing has been on the wall for, God, I don't know, it feels like 7, 8 years now. It's been so long, but there's been very little to no progress within our scene. But that's not because the technology isn't there. It's because people don't understand the real value and the potential of blockchain technology. That's all. But I mean, this is just,
and that's a whole other rabbit hole. And I totally advocate for cryptocurrency as well. But you live in Vegas currently, though. That's what you said?
Yeah.
So walking through any of these casinos, and I'm not really a big gambler myself, but these are huge, gaudy, decadent casinos for the most part on the major strip, which is not classic Vegas. But when you're walking through them, it is actual miles of gaming, of gambling games, and to me it all feels quite antiquated, because even if you go through the slots, they're just, I mean, I'm not a big gambler. It doesn't sell to me. I feel like it's fucking boring. You're playing games of chance, and I mean, that's better for the house, but in my mind, I figure that there would be some kind of like, there would be fighting games, and it would be competitive, and you would win based off of that. And you would have more of an arcade-style casino out there. For anyone that's listening, Dan Bilzerian, just do it. I don't know. It's kind of it would be like more fun for me, or for anyone. You can. There's definitely someone out there who's gonna shit on it. And it won't work. The house would never win because people could be badass. You would win. You would fucking take home pots.
You're absolutely right in your assessment. The problem is that that's not where the casino operators are mentally right now. And I would argue, if anything, the virus has pushed back all of that, let's say, potential esports progress. It's pushed it back further than it was before. But I can also say that Las Vegas is actually quite receptive to the idea of gambling on esports. In fact, in the couple of years that I've been here, I've gone to many meetings. I've seen the who's who of Las Vegas casinos, hotels, government, and media all come together in one room to talk about esports in Las Vegas. I've seen it. It happens regularly, all the time. The problem is that the system and the bureaucracy is set up in such a way to make that type of change, in my opinion, not doable under the current system. And when you look at, because you're not alone, you're not the first one to think about, like, gaming as a means to gamble, and even fighting games as a means to make that happen. Because there's a company, I forget the name of the company. It's a game. I forget the name. It doesn't matter because the game's not coming out. But there's a company that's taking Soul Calibur 2. It's called Soul Calibur 2 Casino Edition. It exists. You can see videos of it. I've seen it in person myself. But essentially, it is an arcade machine where two people can put money in anywhere between $1 and $1,000. Play one game of Soul Calibur 2. Winner takes all. Or you could play against the computer, and that will randomly, I guess, give you points or money.
It would be exponentially harder, I'm sure. I think that the downside for people on the bureaucratic side of casinos is if they're looking at it, it's like, well, people could potentially win these games. You know, it's a game of skill rather than a game of chance, and most of these antiquated games are tried and tested, and like the house will win most of the time. If you're caught winning at blackjack, they're gonna fucking pull you back. You know,
exactly.
they don't
That's
want
right.
you to win. So anyone who goes to Vegas with the mindset of I'm going to win it's kind of foolish. You know, it's built for you to lose. And that's how they make their money. But in an ideal utopian world, it would be great to see more of a situation where you could go to a casino that was based on these other things. Because I've seen slot machines for games that are built around game franchises that are actually just slot machines that utilize the IP, which is like bogus. You know, it's like fucking stupid.
Even Ellen has her own slot machine.
Hell yeah, dude.
But
Tom Hanks,
yeah,
his own slot machine.
there's a
Castaway.
Castaway out there. It's out there somewhere.
I got 3
it's gotta
Wilsons with a dick in it. That's Castaway too, guys. If you guys use that shit, I expect the money. All right, I want fucking points on that.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first on Enter the Computerverse. So just to kind of piggyback on the last thing I said, piggybacking is the theme right now. Which celebrity do you think most deserves to get their ass beat in a 1v1 by you, and in what game?
Deserve it? Anybody on the Epstein flight logs?
Oh my god.
Can get it in the game of their choice.
Bill Clinton. You're gonna beat Bill Clinton. Here we go. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Gootecks versus Bill Clinton. Place your fucking bets.
I mean,
conversely,
that you know, if you got 300,000 tweets about a certain hashtag, I mean, he might even be the crowd favorite, at least. And I might be the underdog in terms of his level of support right now.
Do you think? I mean, well, it doesn't matter about support. What matters is how fucking bomb he is at Street Fighter, right?
Yeah, I mean,
do you think that he knows all the tricks?
I think Slick Willie knows way more tricks than I
Did you
could
just call
ever.
him Slick Willie?
What do you call him?
No, you just called him. Is that a thing, Slick Willie?
Okay.
Guys, you will notice it's so fucking hot in here. I'm sweating. I've been sweating this entire fucking. Look at this.
I see it. It's okay.
It's not okay. Because of Slick Willie. I'm telling you guys, it's not.
Look at in 1992, there was a, sort of in the heyday of MTV, there was this campaign that they did called Rock the Vote. And Rock the Vote was the source of 2 very important clips. One was William Clinton, aka Slick Willie, playing the saxophone with sunglasses on, and the other one was Bill Clinton saying that he had smoked the marijuana but never inhaled.
He never inhaled, yeah. Well, and what the fuck is that? I remember growing up, I heard that. I think my mom used to say, oh yeah, Bill Clinton's great, because my mom was like hardcore fucking weed hater. Your mom. She was not about it.
Oh, your mom is.
She wasn't about it.
Your mom and my mom would have gotten along because, and both of our moms are gonna be really, really disappointed and upset when they see what comes out of these flight logs with Slick Willie on there. I mean, all you have to just Google Slick Willie and you can see the way.
I wouldn't Google Slick Willie. I feel like you're
Slick
gonna
Willie,
find
Bill
some
Clinton.
different.
Slick Willie,
You're gonna
Bill
find like
Clinton.
I think a great way to monetize that would be Bill Clinton's own version of lube, Slick Willie. You know, that's what you'd come
That
up with.
is, oh, bro. Okay.
Bill
All
Clinton
of the meme
Astroglide.
lords. Bill Clinton. Oh my God, it's
Bill
brilliant.
Clinton Astroglide, dude.
see,
Slick
you-
Willie.
You
Why not?
You definitely need Photoshop for that one. That one you need more than just the ability to screenshot.
I can just see
That's
it as
too good.
a Pornhub, one of those Pornhub ads, like on the side. It's like Slick Willie Astroglide. I mean, it's just smart. Come on, what are Bill and Hillary doing right now anyway? You guys got to invest in that shit.
Sweating bullets.
Yeah,
Wet.
I really am. Look at this. Good gracious, guys.
You're-
It's so hot in here. Guys, donate so I can get my fucking air conditioner fixed. For Christ's sake, it's hotter than the fucking devil's dick in here. Slick Willie. Slick Willie style. Oh, dude, he could also have launch his rap career, Slick Willie, because there was like Big Willie, right? Slick Willie style.
I mean,
Why not? It's the future right now.
He's gonna have to do something.
He's gonna have to.
I
He's
mean,
gonna have to
the
pivot into porn,
walls-
guys.
Honestly, that would be the best possible thing that he could do, because at least he could live an honest, straightforward life.
What is his age now? I don't know if anyone. I mean, there was probably there's
bro.
probably a market. There's a market for everything.
Oh
Some people
God,
would
I should have
watch it.
saved. Oh my God, I should have saved the fucking photo of Bill.
He's 73.
73? Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. Holy
73 years old. It's crazy. We
Oh.
just keep getting older, don't we? One day-
Ah,
You consider yourself very lucky to get to 73 years old, man. Okay,
Well, it's
so-
almost as though he knows the secret to extending extending
his
his
life.
youth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called adrenochrome. So,
I mean, it's just
it's
proof is in the
Slick
pudding.
Willie. Yeah, it's Slick Willie. That's how it makes you live longer, makes your schlong longer. Astroglide, Slick Willie. I want points on that too, guys.
well, here's
Sponsor.
the thing.
Come on.
like-
Cliff Bar, Astroglide, Jello.
like any good drug, there is also quite the come down. And when you
Quite
look,
the come down.
well, I mean,
Slick Willie.
okay,
Dude,
not just come
we're
down.
building this whole thing for him. I'm doing too much work for Bill Clinton right now, guys. This is I'm fucking
withdrawal.
killing it for you guys. You put me on the payroll. Come on. Slick.
It's not just the come down; it's withdrawals. Oh God, where is it? Where is it?
I'm
Where
gonna-
is it?
I'm
I
gonna be-
just saw it today.
I'm gonna be making those withdrawals with all the cash I make from Slick Willie.
Oh,
That's
bro,
what it comes down to.
yeah. Well, it's what? Hey,
Fucking
it's retro
destroying.
now because it's not the first time around. That's for
Facts.
sure.
Guys, I'm not gonna have to do this podcast anymore. I'm gonna live the rest of my days out on the beach.
Exactly.
I'll do my
This is
podcast on
your-
the beach with me in the ocean. That's it.
this is
Slick
your
Willie
exit
style.
strategy. Yep. This is
That's
the
it.
exit strategy. It's
Guys, this is a means to an end, guys. Let's just be real. Whoever took this seriously, we went through the whole. I mean, you guys. I appreciate everyone giving me the chance to sit here and bullshit, for 2 hours and just carry on about Slick Willie style and Wilson.
right.
Slick Wilson, dude.
No
with
truth
Tom
here.
Hanks backing that shit up. Slick Wilson, that'll be the fucking castaway. Dude, I'm doing too much work for fucking Slick Willie right now. Good God. Let me tangent. I got a tangent again. We're running on time. We've been fucking going for an hour and 55, I guess, of a long time right now. So I just want to ask you, what is next for Gootex? What's next in the pipeline? What do you envision in your future? You said you've been DJing a little bit,
There's a few minor plays maybe to be had in the music side of things, but I think what it's going to come down to in the let's say the short term between now and the end of 2020, I think is an effort to try to share as much knowledge as I can with other people who are free thinkers, know how to listen, and can keep an open mind where there's just an overwhelming amount of data and evidence to support certain viewpoints. That's all. And if I have to use gaming as a tool to get people to see what's going on, then that is what has to be done. Because people have been sending me messages in music since the dawn of time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's largely unheard in gaming.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that we will ever see a fighting game with you as a character in it, fighting all of the other fighting game pros?
Oh, you fucked up now, because now that shit is gonna happen. It's never even occurred to me.
It'll be so great. It'll be so great, dude. And you could have these special moves, dude. You could Slick Willy them, you know?
That's the finisher. That's the finisher.
Oh, secret character, Bill Clinton. I don't know. Tom Hanks. I don't know.
Man,
Ellen?
Oh, bro.
Good.
Oh my god, dude. You might be onto something. Oh, okay.
I think I've been on one this entire fucking podcast, dude. You guys, so many things are going to be stolen from me.
Okay. Do you have any music projects coming up that require visuals?
Wow, way to tangent. Yeah, always. I mean, if you know anything about Download's a concept project. Everything kind of based around me with the computer head. I've got my comic book that's just come out. I'm not trying to do plugs right now. I guess you know what? That's a great segue. We will do some plugs.
Look, the guest asked about your projects. So it is the host's obligation to plug as much as you need.
It's okay for me to talk about it now. For anyone who doesn't know, every song I release is a chapter in Download's story. So I just had that EP release, Origins, just had a release on Spinnin' earlier this year as a remix for Liquid Todd, just remixed Neon Steve on Insomniacs and Rotation. Got some other stuff in the works, some cool collabs with some great people like Kazette and Jason Amore. And yeah, I can always use visuals that are on brand. So to answer your question, yes. And that being said, it seems like we have more to talk about, but we are out of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to exit the Computerverse after you have entered. Thank you so much. Until our next episode, I just want to say once again, thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can join us on all of our future interdimensional adventures. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Downlowd or on Twitter at Downlowd here. And as always, you can visit www.iamdownload.com for all things related to my music, comics, stories, and more. Gootex, is there any way that you can plug the good people at home with your socials? That way they can reach out if need be.
Yeah, hit me on Twitter at Gootecks, Gootecks. Also on Instagram as well. It's hard to say what will happen and which of these platforms will still be available, but there's also the YouTube channel, Cross Counter TV, as well as the Twitch channel, Cross Counter TV as well. But yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I can have some visuals to contribute to future Download projects. That would be
amazing. Cool. We'll talk about that right now.
You got the wheels turning now.
I just want to tell you, obviously, I'm a fan. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that we fucking finally got this in the can after 8 months and we were able to kind of lock this down. As my first guest for the second season, I am hugely honored. For everyone at home, I truly hope that you enjoy this adventure with us. Until next time, be well, stay safe, wash your hands, and if you're going out, be sure to cover your face. And that's it. Goodbye for now.